We cannot control the external events around us, but we can control our reactions to them. Epictetus. There are mornings when you wake up in silence, the weight of exhaustion still lingering on your shoulders. Out there, the world begins its noisy rush, sweeping people along like waves quietly eroding the shore. Sometimes, in a moment standing before the mirror, you see a familiar yet distant face. Who once had so many dreams, who once believed he would be different, now hesitating in front of himself because of broken promises, old habits, moments of procrastination, and letting go. There are times when you sit in the quiet of your living room, look at the clutter around you, and wonder, where am I really going? No one teaches you how to face that emptiness. People talk about success, but the fatigue and loneliness everyone keeps to themselves. Yet Stoic philosophy teaches that the small, repeated actions of daily life decide the true quality of our existence. Self-control and awareness aren't gifts of fate, but the results of training habit by habit, thoughtful action by thoughtful action, every time you choose not to react impulsively to the world. If you want to enter 2026, not just with resolutions on paper, but with steady composure and a life that feels meaningful, start with these 10 habits. Sometimes, changing just one small thing can set your whole life in a new direction. 1. Start your morning before the world wakes up. There's a certain quiet in the early morning, just before the world stirs awake. If you listen closely, you can hear your own breath steady, unhurried. In that stillness, you stand at the edge of a new day, holding the rare power to decide what kind of man you'll be, at least for the next few hours. Marcus Aurelius used to remind himself, when you wake up, remember, your duty is to be human. It sounds simple, almost naive, until you realize how easy it is to lose yourself in the demands, noise, and mess of modern life. But what does it really mean to start your day as a human? Sometimes it means something as small and as hard as making your bed. Most people don't think twice about this habit. The bed is just a bed, rumpled, waiting for another night. Maybe you're rushing to answer emails, or chasing after your kids, or dragging yourself to work, already running late. What difference does it make, you might ask? I'll just mess it up again tonight. But the truth is, making your bed is rarely about the blanket or the pillow. It's about regaining a sense of control, however modest, in a world where so much feels unpredictable. Let's be honest. There are mornings when you wake up overwhelmed. Bills are due. Work is demanding. Relationships aren't as close as you'd like. Maybe you're tired of letting yourself down with promises you never quite keep. In these moments, the day can feel like a fight you've already lost before you even start. But imagine this. Instead of reaching for your phone, you take a breath, smooth out the covers, straighten your pillow, and create order out of small chaos. It's a simple act, but it's one you choose. In that moment, you send yourself a message. I have agency. I can create change, however small. I am not completely at the mercy of what's coming. I remember a friend, Jake, 2 kids, a high-pressure job, and a marriage stretched thin by years of stress. He told me once, most mornings I woke up dreading the day. I'd stumble around grabbing coffee, clothes and my phone, already feeling behind. But the day I started making my bed, I noticed something had changed. It was the only part of my day that was tidy, predictable, mine. It made facing everything else just a little easier. He wasn't talking about perfection, Some mornings the blanket still looked lopsided, but he kept at it. Over time, that small act became a foundation for other habits, a quick workout, a moment of reading, and a better mood with his kids. The mistake many make is thinking they'll only feel better after they've solved all their big problems. Stoicism suggests the opposite. Start small. Begin where you are. When you make your bed, you're practicing discipline in the smallest circle of your world. And every morning you choose order over chaos. You remind yourself you are capable of shaping your life, one habit at a time. So tomorrow, before you let the world in, pause for a moment. Make your bed not because you must, but because you can. In that act, however quiet, you reclaim a piece of your own story. Control begins not with grand gestures, but with a single steady choice repeated every day. 2. Make your bed to build control. It's strange, isn't it? How something as ordinary as making your bed can become a turning point. Maybe you know the feeling. The alarm rings. You hesitate for a moment. Another day. More of the same. The world outside is waiting, demanding, unpredictable. But here, in this silent room, you stand at the edge of choice. The blanket is tangled, the pillows out of place, and you wonder if it matters at all. Seneca once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." On most mornings, you probably scroll your phone or wander into the day half awake. The bed sits untouched, a small defeat you hardly notice. But what if, just once, you pause? What if you smooth the sheets, straighten the corners, and put the pillow back where it belongs? It seems laughably simple, and yet you might sense a shift inside. In a world where much is chaos, where schedules slip and people disappoint, making your bed is an act of self-command. You chose this. You completed it. No matter how the rest of the day unfolds, you've started with a small win. Sometimes life feels too big, too messy to control. Maybe work is overwhelming, relationships complicated, or you're carrying regrets from years past. Control can feel like an illusion, something other people have, or a trick of luck. But the Stoics remind us, mastery begins not with grand gestures, but with the little things done well, again and again. The first task you complete, however minor, becomes a statement. I am responsible for this moment. I can create order out of disorder, even if it's just within the borders of a mattress. Perhaps you think, but what's the point? No one sees my bed but me. That's exactly why it matters. This act isn't a performance for others, it's a quiet contract with yourself. By honoring it, you quietly reinforce your ability to follow through, to finish what you start, to respect the commitments you make to yourself. Over time, these small rituals become the scaffolding for greater self-trust. It's easy to believe control comes from changing circumstances, getting a better job, finding the right partner, and having more money. Yet the truth, often learned the hard way, is that outer events are rarely yours to command. There will be mornings when the world feels like it's closing in, when nothing goes as planned, when old doubts return. Those are the days a made bed means most. It's not about the neatness, but the message. No matter how uncertain life is, you can always begin with what's right in front of you. If you've struggled with follow-through, if you feel stuck in patterns of self-doubt or resignation, start here. Not because it will fix everything at once, but because it gives you proof, one clear, tangible sign that you can choose order over chaos, discipline over drift. And maybe, as this practice becomes habit, you'll notice something else: the confidence to face bigger tasks, to handle what's hard, to meet your own eyes in the mirror and know you're capable of more than you believed. So tomorrow, when you wake up and the world is as unpredictable as ever, pause for a moment. Make your bed and remind yourself, control isn't found in conquering the world, but in choosing day after day to conquer yourself. 3. Do one hard thing every morning. Maybe this sounds familiar. The alarm rings, you turn it off, and before your feet hit the floor, a silent negotiation begins in your mind. There's that one thing. Maybe it's a set of push-ups, maybe it's opening that book you've avoided, maybe it's a tough email or a small, uncomfortable truth you need to face. Instinctively, you look for an excuse to save it for later, or tomorrow, or never. The day fills up with easy wins, distractions, and tasks that don't cost much effort. Yet, at the end of the day, there's an odd, hollow ache inside, a sense that you drifted instead of drove. This is a pattern most of us know, and it's not because we're weak or lazy. In fact, your mind is wired to protect you from discomfort, to preserve your energy, to shield you from pain. But as Epictetus reminded his students, difficulties are things that show a person what they are. Growth never comes from the path of least resistance. What if, instead of dodging discomfort, you started to lean into it just a little every morning, not as punishment, not as a test to see how much you can suffer, but as an act of self-respect? Each morning, you choose one thing that feels a little hard. For some, it might be stepping outside for a run when the bed is warm. For others, it's saying no to a second cup of coffee or sitting quietly in meditation when the mind is racing. Maybe it's tackling a work project you've dreaded or calling that person you've avoided for weeks. The hard thing is different for everyone. What matters isn't the scale, but the act of choosing to face it. That's where you build the muscle of will. When you do something hard, not because you're forced, but because you choose to, you take back control from fear, comfort, and habit. You train your mind to see a challenge not as a threat, but as a chance to expand. Let me give you a concrete example. There was a time when I dreaded cold showers. It seemed pointless, even a bit cruel. But one winter, I decided to try it every morning, right after waking up. The first moments under cold water were shocking. Everything in me screamed to turn it off. But with each breath, something shifted. I realized the resistance was strongest in my mind. When I stepped out, I wasn't just awake. I felt sharper, prouder, as if I'd already won something important before the day had even begun. That small victory set the tone for everything that followed. Emails, meetings, even the way I spoke to my family. The hard thing was never about the water. It was about showing myself that I could choose courage over comfort. You may not choose a cold shower, but the lesson is the same. Each hard thing you do is a quiet rebellion against stagnation, a reminder that you are not here to hide from life. When you choose the difficult over the easy again and again, you send a message to yourself. I am willing to grow. I can do hard things. I can trust myself. The point is not to become someone who seeks pain, but someone who seeks meaning. Growth and meaning do not come from what is effortless, but from meeting the edge of what you think you can handle and going a little further. Every morning you get that chance. So tomorrow, before the world asks anything of you, ask something of yourself. Choose one hard thing and do it. Not because you must, but because you can. Watch how your day and your sense of self begin to change. 4. Protect your first hour. There's something sacred about the first hour after you wake up. Maybe you know the feeling. The alarm goes off, and for a split second, there's silence. A quiet space before the world starts tugging at you. But too often, that silence vanishes before you even notice it's there. Your hand reaches for the phone, almost on its own. News flashes, emails buzz, social media scrolls by in an endless feed, and suddenly you're not alone in your room. You're already surrounded by 1,000 voices, expectations, anxieties, and to-do lists that don't even belong to you. If you're honest, how many mornings start this way? You promise yourself just a minute to check, but a minute becomes 20. And as you scroll, you feel it, the tension rising in your chest, the sense that you're already behind, that the day is already out of your hands. It's a strange thing, your day hasn't truly begun, but your peace has already slipped away. Stoic philosophy reminds us the only thing truly yours is your inner world. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say, or think, or do, only what you do." The first hour is your chance to live that truth. Protect it fiercely. Imagine if, instead of rushing to react, you chose to respond calmly, deliberately, with intention. Here's the problem. Distractions are everywhere, and they are designed to hook you. Most men never question it. They let their mornings be dictated by algorithms, headlines, or someone else's emergency. Over time, this becomes a habit, a kind of silent surrender, the erosion of agency day by day. You might notice it in your mood. You're more irritable, less focused. Or maybe you feel it as a dull ache, a sense that you're always chasing rather than leading your life. But what if you did it differently? What if, just for a week, you defended that first hour like a guardian at the gate? Don't reach for your phone. Don't let the world crash through your door before you've even said good morning to yourself. Instead, choose something simple but nourishing. Read a few pages of a book that challenges you. Sit with a journal and ask yourself what you want from this day, not what the world wants from you. Step outside and breathe in the morning air. Move your body gently, even if it's just stretching, or simply sit quietly, letting your mind settle before the demands begin. I know a man named Tom who spent years believing he was simply not a morning person. He would check emails in bed, get pulled into work dramas, and stumble through his mornings in a fog of anxiety. One day, after reading about the power of morning rituals, he tried something new. For 7 days, no phone for the first hour. He read, did a few push-ups, and made his own coffee without distraction. By the end of that week, he noticed a difference, a sense of clarity and calm that lasted far longer than 60 minutes. His wife said he was more present. His colleagues noticed his patience. Tom hadn't changed his job or his life overnight. He'd simply reclaimed the hour he never knew was his to protect. You might think it's a small thing. It isn't. In that hour, you set the tone for everything that follows. Your first hour is the ground you stand on before the storm. Guard it. Make it yours. And in that quiet, you'll remember who you are before the world tells you otherwise. When you're ready, we'll move to the next habit, moving your body to create momentum. Because nothing stirs the mind and spirit quite like taking action, and your day deserves that kind of energy. 5. Move your body to create momentum. Think of your body as the only vehicle you'll ever own for the journey of life. Some mornings it feels like you're stuck in neutral, idling at the edge of the day, unsure if you even want to move forward. You wake up, sit at the side of your bed, and the weight of another ordinary day settles quietly on your shoulders. Perhaps you reach for your phone, hoping for a spark, but all you get is a haze of information that leaves you feeling even heavier. Here's the truth. Nothing changes until you move. Momentum doesn't appear out of thin air. It's built slowly, sometimes painfully, by the smallest actions. Aristotle, centuries ago, taught that a person's growth depends on the unity of body, mind, and spirit. Ignore one, and the others wither too. You can't think your way into clarity if your body is sinking into stillness. I've met people who thought their willpower was broken, who believed they had no discipline left in them. But when you ask, their days look strangely the same. Wake up, go straight to the desk, skip breakfast, avoid the gym, let the car do all the work. The mind wants to soar, but the body has become a cage. You start to believe the problem is you, your weakness, your lack of drive. But maybe it's not that at all. Maybe it's simply inertia. Maybe your body is waiting for a sign, a command, a gesture that says, "I'm alive and I can still change this day." It doesn't have to be grand. A few stretches by the window, a slow walk around the block, a set of push-ups before coffee, these things seem trivial, but they are not. They are the first domino. I remember talking to a friend, Mike, who was overwhelmed by work and stress. He'd lost all motivation for exercise. One day he promised himself just 5 minutes, walk up and down the stairs, nothing more. He laughed at how small it was, almost ridiculous. But he kept that promise. The next day, he did 10 minutes. Within a month, he was jogging again. He said, "It wasn't the running that changed my mood. It was that I proved I could start something even when I didn't feel like it." There's a kind of magic in honoring that small commitment. When you move, you break the spell of stagnation. Your blood flows, your breath deepens, your brain wakes up. You become present, not just in your thoughts, but in the world, in your own skin. Movement is an act of defiance against the heaviness that sometimes clings to us all. It reminds you, this is my body, this is my day, and I have a say in how it begins. It's easy to underestimate the power of movement when life feels stuck. The mind says, "Stay here, rest a little longer." But the body knows the way out. The Stoics believed that any action was always better than paralysis. Cleanthes, a follower of Zeno, once compared the disciplined man to a skilled rower. He keeps moving, even when the wind is against him. So tomorrow morning, before you get swept up by obligations, do one thing. Move your body. Let that be your anchor, your signal to yourself that you can choose momentum over inertia. The journey isn't about perfection. It's about honoring the commitment to show up for yourself, even when you'd rather not. If this message speaks to you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more thoughtful reflections on building a meaningful life. You're not alone in this. Every step counts, and sometimes the smallest one makes all the difference. 6. Drink water like fuel. The thought crosses your mind on a busy afternoon when you've barely noticed the dryness in your throat. Maybe you're halfway through your second coffee, or you've reached for a soda instead of a glass of water. Something quick, something that gives the illusion of energy. If you pause now, When was the last time you truly drank a glass of water and felt present with it? Most people can't recall. Life, for so many, is a rush between screens, meetings, errands, and obligations. We postpone the simplest needs: stretching, breathing deeply, drinking water. Our minds are so caught up in problems and solutions, wins and losses, that we neglect the very body carrying us through it all. Stoic philosophy is often thought of as a practice of the mind, but Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You consist of body, breath, or life, and mind. Body and breath are yours to care for, while the mind is the part that does the caring." Water is not just a drink. It's a reminder. Your physical self matters. You aren't just thoughts, ambitions, regrets, and memories. You are a living, breathing being made up mostly of water. How you treat that body, how you fuel it, shapes your experience of every single day. Let's look at a familiar story. John, an engineer, spends most days hunched over his computer. He prides himself on discipline, on meeting deadlines, on taking care of his family. But by late afternoon, he's irritable, his head aches, and he can't concentrate. He blames stress, aging, maybe even his job. Only after a routine health check and a quiet conversation with his doctor does he realize he's been chronically dehydrated for years. Water was never a priority. Now he makes it a habit to drink a large glass first thing in the morning, to keep a bottle on his desk, and to pause for water instead of just coffee. Within weeks he feels clearer, more patient, and less exhausted. It wasn't magic, it was self-respect, practiced in the simplest way. The real problem for most of us isn't that we forget to drink water, it's that we forget to care for ourselves in ways that matter most. We treat water like an afterthought, just as we treat sleep, stillness, or honest rest. Yet, if you can't meet your own basic needs, how can you expect to have the strength or clarity to face bigger challenges? In Stoic thinking, self-mastery starts with self-awareness. Drinking water is a daily act of attention. It's a moment to check in, to show that you are worthy of care, that your needs deserve to be met, not just by others, but by yourself. When you drink water, you signal to your mind, "I value myself enough to tend to what matters, even when it's invisible to everyone else." So tomorrow morning, before the world's demands rise up around you, stand at your kitchen sink, pour a glass of cold water, drink it slowly, without rushing to the next thing. Feel the sensation of it, the way it wakes your body, the way it anchors you in the present. Let that be your practice, not just a habit for health, but a small, steady promise that you will not neglect yourself, even in the smallest ways. 7. Keep your space clean. Keeping your space clean seems simple enough, but it's often the first thing to slip when life gets heavy. Maybe you walk into your living room at the end of a long day, shoes scattered by the door, papers gathering dust on the coffee table, a jacket thrown over the back of a chair. The world outside feels chaotic, and you tell yourself you'll tidy up tomorrow. But tomorrow arrives, and the clutter grows. Soon, the mess isn't just on the floor, it's in your mind. Plato once said, "The soul is the source of all knowledge." There's a quiet truth in that. The way you care for your environment is a mirror for how you treat yourself. When the dishes pile up and old coffee cups stack on your desk, it's easy to dismiss them as trivial. But over time, these little acts of neglect seep into your thinking. Clutter becomes a background noise that unsettles your mind, making it harder to focus, harder to rest. This is not about perfection or living like a show home. It's about respect. Respect for the space you've earned and the life you're living inside it. When you take the time to fold a blanket, wipe the counter, or return things to their place, you send yourself a clear message. I matter enough to care. I'm not waiting for someone else to make things better. Consider Joshua Fields Milburn, co-founder of the Minimalists. In his early 30s, Joshua's life fell apart after losing his mother and going through a divorce in the same month. The apartment he once kept spotless quickly filled with clutter, old clothes, paperwork, and unopened boxes. The growing mess was a mirror of his inner turmoil. One weekend, exhausted and searching for something he could control, Joshua decided to clear out a single closet. Sorting through forgotten items forced him to face old memories and let go of things holding him back. As the space slowly became organized, he felt a sense of lightness return. He continued this practice room by room, using each act of cleaning as a small step to reclaim order in his life. For Joshua, tidying up wasn't just about having a neat apartment. It was an act of self-respect and a sign that he was ready to move forward. Gradually, as his surroundings cleared, so did his mind, reminding him that change always begins with the space closest to us. Cleaning your space isn't about being neat for the sake of it. It's a quiet act of discipline, a daily return to order. And in that order, you'll find the beginnings of peace, a place where your mind can rest and your will can grow strong. This is how you build a foundation for a life that feels less like chaos and more like something you're proud to inhabit. 8. Read or learn for 10 minutes. Imagine your mind as a quiet garden at dawn. Most days it lies untended, seeds scattered but left unwatered. Some mornings a new idea appears, a tiny shoot, green and alive, poking out from the earth. You pause, perhaps for just 10 minutes, to water this shoot with a few pages from a book or a short lesson in something new. And in that brief moment, you are not just passing time, you are shaping the very landscape of your life. The truth is, many men tell themselves there's no time. Work piles up, family needs attention, the world screams for your energy. You might remember the last time you opened a book, maybe months ago, maybe years, and yet, isn't it strange how easily an hour can slip away on your phone, lost to endless scrolling? Deep down, we know the discomfort that comes from a stagnant mind, that dull ache of routine, the sense that every day is repeating itself, the silent worry that you are not growing. Cleanthes, one of the early Stoics, understood this intimately. He worked as a water carrier by day, but every night, by lamplight, he read and reflected. 10 minutes may sound small, but it is nothing. Each session is a quiet rebellion against passivity. You are telling yourself, I am not finished, I can become more. And with each day, those seeds of curiosity and wisdom begin to take root. They make you less reactive, more resilient. You start to see old problems from new angles. Your world, once narrow, gradually expands. The biggest mistake? Thinking you must read for hours or master great philosophies all at once. Growth does not come from force, but from steady, honest effort. The mind, like the body, strengthens with regular practice. When you give yourself permission to learn for just 10 minutes, you lower the barrier to entry. You make it possible, even on hard days. So, try it. Close the noise for a little while. Pick up something worth reading, a page, a poem, a lesson. Notice what stirs inside you. Over weeks and months, you will realize those small, repeated choices have reshaped you. Have you tried this? What book or idea changed your perspective recently? Share your story below. Someone may need to hear it. 9. Keep one promise to yourself. Have you ever promised yourself something in the quiet of your mind? A simple intention like, I'll go for a walk today, or I won't check my phone before bed, only to break that promise without much thought. Maybe you told yourself you'd call an old friend, or skip dessert, or just sit in silence for 5 minutes, and then life pulled you in another direction. At first it feels small, almost harmless. But as the days add up, there's a subtle cost. You begin to doubt your own word. This is a quiet kind of erosion. Most men don't talk about it, but you can sense it underneath. Each broken promise is a small crack in the foundation of self-respect. It's easy to dismiss, to say, I was too busy, or it didn't matter. Yet, over time, these moments shape how you see yourself. If you can't count on your own word, who will? Socrates once insisted, be honest with yourself before expecting others to trust you. It's not about perfection. It's about building integrity, one small commitment at a time. When you keep even a tiny promise to yourself, you're making a quiet declaration. I matter. My word matters. It could be as simple as making your bed, drinking an extra glass of water, or finishing that chapter you started. Every kept promise is a brick laid in the house of your self-trust. Maybe you're thinking, I've let myself down too many times. What's the point? But this is the very place to begin again. The world is noisy with expectations. You owe it to yourself to become someone you can rely on. You don't need grand gestures. You need daily evidence. With each kept promise, you strengthen your will. You become the kind of man who does what he says, not for applause, not for anyone else, but simply because you respect yourself. Imagine waking up one day and realizing you trust your own intentions again. Imagine the confidence, the calm that comes from knowing you're steady, regardless of what life brings. And if you wonder whether these little wins really matter, wait for the next step when you learn to recognize and celebrate 3 daily victories, no matter how small. Noticing your progress and pausing to reflect on it might just be the habit that ties everything together. Are you ready to see your own wins in a new light? 10. Reflect on 3 daily wins. Have you ever reached the end of a long day, feeling like nothing you did really mattered? Maybe you sit on the edge of your bed, scrolling through your phone, searching for something to distract you from a sense of emptiness that lingers despite all the busyness. It's easy to remember the mistakes, the things you haven't done, the arguments, the failures. But how often do you actually notice your small victories? Marcus Aurelius, in the quiet of his nights, would write in his journal not as a king, but as a man determined to keep himself honest. He looked for the lessons, the signs of progress, the good he had done, no matter how ordinary. This was not a ritual for praise, but a habit for perspective. Every day holds moments worth recognizing. The 3 wins don't have to be heroic. Maybe you got out of bed when you didn't want to. Maybe you kept calm in a meeting that could have turned into an argument. Maybe you called your father, or just took 10 minutes to breathe deeply, resisting the urge to drown in your phone. These things matter. Let me give you a real example. I once knew a man called Daniel, mid-40s, divorced, working a job he didn't love. He told me, I always thought I had nothing to be proud of. My life looked like a string of unfinished projects and disappointments. But after a friend suggested this habit, he began to write down 3 daily wins. At first, they were painfully small. Didn't lose my temper with my son. Went for a walk. Didn't skip lunch. After a week, he realized he was keeping more promises to himself. The evidence of his effort grew day by day, and so did his sense of self-respect. When you reflect on 3 daily wins, you're not ignoring your problems. You're building the inner ground you stand on. You're training your mind to notice progress, however small, instead of only hunting for what's lacking. This is not about self-indulgence. It's about honesty, acknowledging your effort, your growth, your moments of integrity. The world will always be loud with criticism. Your own mind can be the harshest voice of all, but you have the choice each night to balance that with truth. 3 daily wins. Write them down. Speak them out loud if you need to. With time, you'll see your path more clearly, and you'll realize you've been moving forward even on the hardest days. No one can control everything that will happen in the year ahead, but we can always control how we choose to live each day. These 10 habits aren't burdens to carry. They're tools to help you strengthen your mind, build your willpower, and protect your sense of inner peace no matter what life throws at you. Small daily actions are where true transformation begins. By making your bed, moving your body, protecting your mornings, and reflecting on your daily wins, you set yourself on a steady path toward lasting growth. If you start now, by the time 2026 arrives, you'll look back and see how far you've come, not just in what you've achieved, but in the person you've become. Which of these habits speaks to you the most? Have you tried any already, or do you struggle with building routines? Let's talk in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and stories. If you found this helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to follow for more Stoic insights and watch the next videos so you don't miss your journey toward a calmer, stronger you.